You step out of line, you make one false move, you're out of here. Don't think you're the first.
Come on, fuckos, let's go for a ride.
Hello everyone, my name is Easy and welcome back to another episode of Easy Does It, where we take a look at YouTube channels, react to them, and give them a review. We also sometimes do daily vlogs. Now, this week we are taking a look at a channel called The Review. Basically they do a lot of, like list, or they do, according to them, celebrity biographies. They review, an actor or something like that, or, go over their history, that kind of thing. And like I said, they do lists where they list like the top 10 or whatever, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Everyone knows what a list channel is. Now, they've just been around for a few years. Looks like they've been on since 2019. They've got, a little over 1 million views. They have about 9,000 subscribers. So they're pretty much getting off to a decent start. I've never really watched this. It was just, it popped up on my recommendations. Probably because I've watched, a few channels that do lists like facts and stuff like that. I just figured we'd check it out, see what it's about. Their latest has to do with failed 10 TV failed shows from 1991, or basically the 90s. I'm more of an 80s kid. Literally history has shown it was the greatest decade ever. The 80s, it was the best time to grow up, because you just had new technology coming out, new fashion, just a bunch of new things that everybody was trying. Everybody was experimenting and trying new kinds of stuff, and it was just, the stories for our entertainment was original. None of this rehash and redoing crap or remakes and all that junk. All the ideas were original and new and cool. Even if it was cheesy or, silly, it still was great. By the time the 90s came around, I really wasn't like watching a whole lot of television or movies or anything like that. I was pretty young, so I was more, and I was going out more and, hanging out with friends and stuff, and, claiming I wasn't getting into trouble, I still hold my grounds to that day. I'm telling you, I was a good boy. I wasn't doing any shady shit back then. Hell no. But yeah, I was getting out more, running around more in the '90s, so I wasn't at home as much watching television yet. But I still remember some of the shows and stuff. So, anyways, I'm gonna go over this with you and see if see what kind of channel they are, see if they're fairly decent or not. Let's give it a watch.
1991 brought us some pretty successful TV shows. Home Improvement, Step by Step,
I'm Cody. I'm Frank's nephew. I live in the van in the driveway.
and Silk Stockings, just to name a few.
Sitcoms were never
Unfortunately,
really my
1991 was
thing.
also
I
loaded
watched a
with
few
a
of
lot
them,
of one-season
but
wonders.
just
From
certain
Talking Babies
episodes.
to a spin-off starring Matt LeBlanc, pre-Friends fame, and George Clooney with long hair. Some of these shows were absolutely horrible, while others faced premature cancellation. Welcome to the review. Today we're counting down 10 failed TV shows from 1991. Leave us a comment below if you remember watching any of these. Number 10, The Torkelsons.
God looks out for the working man.
I never even heard of that
The
show.
Torkelsons premiered on NBC on September 21st. It actually started as a product of Walt Disney Television, seeing a meager 20 episodes before being abruptly reimagined in an attempt by NBC to salvage the show under a completely different title. The series, which ultimately wrapped up on a 33rd episode finale, was based around the character Millicent Torkelson, played by Connie Ray, a mother of
Okay.
5 quirky kids struggling to cope financially after the recent departure of her husband, taking place in Pyramid Corners, Oklahoma. The pilot episode itself introduces us to a cast of children that are subsequently replaced between episodes. The pilot also features the character of J.W., a local butcher smitten with Millicent, who we never see or hear from again throughout the show's run. The show is often most remembered for brief segments where Dorothy Jane, played by Olivia Burnett, would have sincere and reflective conversations with the man on the moon.
Man in the moon, tell me I was switched at birth. 2 look-alike babies got mixed up and sent to the wrong families. And for 14 years I've been
Yeah.
forced to live as a Torkelson.
The retooling of the
It just
series
looks
under
like
the
a
new
bad
title,
show.
Almost Home, coincided
Over
with a
dramatized,
switch from being shot on film to
not
being
really a
recorded on
sitcom
video.
comedy. Not,
This being the least of the glaring
mean-
differences to the original. 2 of the Torkelsons' kids vanish without explanation, and the Midwest setting is traded for a new locale in Seattle. Now Millicent is employed as a live-in nanny for a widowed man with a son and daughter. And if that premise sounds familiar,
yeah, you
you may
think?
look no further than a year into the future to see rival station CBS premiere their pilot of The Nanny. Fran Drescher claims ownership over her creation, and she's said to have been inspired by her time growing up in
I didn't
Queens,
like
New
that
York.
show either. That show
Some
sucked.
will remember the Torkelsons.
No, I was thinking more Who's
It
the
was
Boss.
syndicated on the Disney
They
Channel
copied Who's the
weekday
Boss.
and weekend lineups from 1994 until nearly 2000.
Sort of.
During this period, Disney packaged all the show's promos and bumpers solely under the banner of the Torkelsons.
But a single mother with like
Many will
a
have caught the oversight of leaving in the
handful
Almost
of
Home
kids.
titles as the opening
Yeah, I
credits
just-
play out. And if Chucky Lee looks
I
familiar,
didn't see.
it's because it's Lee Norris.
I don't see
Played
it being a
Minkus on
decent
Boy Meets
show.
World in
for me anyway.
1993.
Chucky Lee,
Yes, ma'am?
you been working out?
Number 9, Baby Talk.
There's another one I never seen.
Right
Well, that's
on the
Julia
success of
Duffy
the
there.
1989 box office mega success of Look Who's
Yeah, I
Talking,
started to say that must be coming off the
It's my kind of town.
a film
Look
budgeted
Who's
at
Talking
$7.5 million
show.
that wound up grossing $297 million.
It was
Running multiple
okay.
sequels, the second of which, Look Who's
For
Talking
it was
2,
a funny movie, but
bringing in far less
the
money
second
than
one
the
was
first,
terrible.
but
I
enough
didn't
to
like
keep
the
goal of
sequel.
making this a trilogy
I didn't
alive.
even know it was a
This is
trilogy.
precisely where 1991's
Oh yeah, 'cause they had the
series
dogs
Baby Talk
talking.
fits in.
Yeah,
Program
okay.
Designed to hit an ABC TGIF time time slot with a single ambition in mind.
Yeah,
To keep
I didn't
public interest
really
up
care for
until
the sequels.
slated release of
The
Look
first
Who's
movie
Talking
was
Now
alright.
in the fall of '93. Coming off the heels
So
of Charles
naturally,
in
I
Charge,
didn't.
Scott Baio played
I've
James
never
Holbrook,
watched or seen
and
this
the
show.
long-haired George Clooney played Joe.
Wow, that's
the premise of the show
crazy.
being that of single mother Maggie's
George
life-changing move
Clooney
to the Big
looking like
Apple
that.
in hopes of starting her life anew with son baby Mickey, voiced by Tony Danza.
But I know who
Do you guys
Julia
have any other
Duffy is.
traditions? Well, circumcision. I bet you'd want to know about that, huh? Do you?
Maybe later.
Problem is, when compared to a major motion picture's budget and the resources they have, the audience was, of course,
I remember
with a
Julia
full,
Duffy
watered-down
from
version of quips,
Newhart, or
one-liners, and playful
Bob
insights
Newhart's
that
show.
fell flat. Episode
Like I said,
24 brought
I
drastic
never really
change
was
to
into
an already
sitcoms, but during the
negatively
80s and
concept.
90s, I'd
Part
seen a
due
few
to
episodes
scathing
of certain
reviews
sitcoms
and
or
the negative
whatever.
reception,
I just never really
Julia
got
Duffy,
that big
who did
into
accept
it.
the role of Maggie, opted to end her contract in order to replace Delta Burke, who was then leaving Designing Women. After numerous cast changes, a steep decline
I never
in
got
ratings
into
and
Designing
numerous
Women
time slot
either.
adjustments made
I
to
thought that
salvage
show
the
was
series,
haram.
the public had
Very
seen
feminist
enough.
show.
In fact, one only has to look
I
to the
didn't care
results of the
for it.
1991
The only reason
Electronic
why I
Media
even saw a
Critics
few
poll
episodes of
to see
Designing
that
Women
Baby Talk was voted
is Annie
the worst
Potts.
series on television.
That woman was just,
Number 8, The Adventures of
she
Mark
was drop
and
dead
Ryan.
gorgeous at the time. The hell?
NBC's fall lineup debuted The Adventures of Mark and Brian, endeavoring to adapt what began as a series of morning radio bits
Okay.
broadcast on KLOS.
Never heard of
Los
these
Angeles.
dudes. Don't know
As
this
early
show.
as 1987
Never seen it.
turned out to be fruitless indeed. This comedy duo of radio disc jockeys gained attention and popularity by each week, concocting interesting stunts
Back in
dares
the
of
80s,
outrageous manner.
maybe
Everything
early
from having
90s, they had a
celebrities
few
sail from helicopters on
disc
Valentine's
jockeys
Day to towing a gigantic
that were
statue
kind
of
of
Elvis
popular.
Presley's head clear
And
across the country to Memphis.
then they,
This
MTV
last-mentioned
came
fellow
out,
accompanied by a film
and then
crew,
they had
thus setting the stage for the boardroom
video-
to bring the humor of Mark Thompson
video
and Brian
jockeys
Phillips
that actually
nationwide.
became more
Not
popular
only
by
was the show
then.
canceled, but unaired episodes had to wait to be viewed until reruns began, running
And
briefly in
MTV
summer of
ruined
92.
themselves
Interestingly, as horrendous
because it's not
reception this received
MTV
in
anymore.
91,
It
does
stands
seem
for
to be
music
quite on
television.
par with what modern viewers will find
They
take
started
up the
putting a whole
majority
bunch of
their
television
listings.
shows on there,
Perhaps it was simply ahead of
like
its
the
time.
Real World. The
Number
Real World
7, My Life
destroyed
and
that
Times.
channel because it's one of the most god-awful shows.
I've seen myself change.
Initial in-house reports from April 1990 labeled the 30-minute drama My Life in Times
Instead of just playing
one of the
music all the
most talked
time, they
about
had all that
projects in
stupid
development at
TV
ABC
shows.
Productions.
That's why they started doing
Starring Helen
MTV
Hunt as
2 and
Rebecca,
MTV
Megan
3,
Mullally
but
as
they just
Susan,
couldn't go back
and
to
Tom
that.
Irwin as Ben Miller. An
I don't know this show either, never heard of it.
Retirement retreat in the year 2035
What?
reflects upon events of his life. These events taking shape as what we see playing out on screen. Events such as the 1989 San Francisco earthquake
Well,
or Black Monday, when the stock
it looks
market
like a
crashed
really
that same
over-dramatized show.
year. Interested yet?
Looks
Neither
boring.
was anyone in 91. And one word to describe the show is boring.
I
Seven
just said
episodes were
that.
produced, but only 6 made it to air. I tried to watch the pilot episode myself while researching this video. I only made it for about 4 minutes in.
Bridge, the top new fall series.
That's just funny. Because I literally just said it looks fucking boring.
Bridge Wednesday.
Number 6,
Brooklyn
Princesses.
Bridge?
When the prince of my dreams comes to me.
One has to wonder what would prompt CBS to greenlight a project doomed before ever hitting the production floor. Prior to its premiere, media sources, such as the then heavily watched Entertainment Tonight, took to publicizing the on-set issues plaguing the show's filming, chronicling the lives of 3 New York City roommates with a variety of different upbringings. The show starred Julie Haggerty, Twiggy, and Fran Drescher. Among off-camera disputes, utterly negative reviews, and the threat that
Oh,
even
absolutely.
finished, the show
I would have
may
never watched
see
this dumbass
syndication.
shit.
Princesses was
I
poised
guarantee
to
it.
end up penniless. This was crystal clear from the moment the pilot itself
Yeah,
aired,
this
and
sounds like a
executives received the
really
news
dumbass
that
show.
Princesses placed
Definitely
dead
wouldn't have
last
watched
in the
that
Nielsen
crap.
ratings. This drew
I
the
hate
head of syndication
over-dramatized
himself to
crap.
suggest perhaps
I hate it.
replacing all the actresses.
I don't care if they
During a
try to
meeting,
make it like
star
it's a
Fran
comedy
Drescher submitted the
sitcom.
idea of replacing
If it's
only
over
Haggerty,
dramatized
but CBS
and
chose
shit,
instead to
nobody
cut its
cares.
losses and wash its hands of the whole affair. Out of 132 shows being rated that year, Princesses placed 118th, seeing an extremely short lifespan from September 27th to October 25th. After Haggerty walked off set during the filming of the 4th episode, 2 more were produced. Only 5 of these 8 episodes were broadcast, while the final 2 never aired at all. The best part of the show was Fran Drescher's voice being slightly less annoying than her voice on The Nanny.
Yeah, I can't stand
Yeah, we'll be right there. Throw me the bouquet.
Fran Drescher. Ugh. Terrible
Number
actress.
5, Palace Guard.
Palace Guard? Wow, he's listing a bunch of
Often
shows
tagged
I've
right on
never
the
even
heels
heard
the
of.
success that was 1985's Moonlighting. ABC brought audiences in October release that lasted a total of 2 weeks. Before seeing an early grave, Palace Guard, modeled around jewel thief and cat burglar Tommy Logan, would follow him.
Okay,
navigating
that
his
sounds
way
a
through
little
his new
familiar.
employment as head of security of a conglomerate of exclusive palace hotels. The very chain of
I'm pretty
businesses
sure
in
I've
which
seen
clientele
something
he once
similar.
made his living off of.
I mean,
a
it's
classic
just
case of if you can't beat
sounds
them,
like a
join them.
trope,
The show being predominantly
you know,
centered around the
story,
relationship
like
and
it's been
daily
done
events
before.
of Palace Hotel's head of public relations, Christy Cooper. Cooper being portrayed by Marcy Walker, who after captivating audiences as Eden on daytime Santa Barbara, had high hopes of breaking into nighttime television. The episodes would see Logan and Cooper venturing from city to city to protect their interests at the many Palace Hotel locales strewn about the country. Through off-the-wall and
Yay.
Logan would thwart a crisis, and Cooper would be left to endure the cleanup
Sounds
and the PR
just like
side of
an
things.
amazing
The numbers on this
show.
one read so
Ah.
poorly that even if you were to include the feature-length pilot, only 3 of the 8 episodes aired. Number 4, Flesh and Blood. NBC's September 91
Another one I've never heard of.
fall lineup included sitcom Flesh and Blood.
Sitcom,
Baltimore
huh?
DA Rachel decides she'd like to search out her birth family before coming face to face with the old adage, be careful what you wish for. She locates her long-lost, unexpectedly redneck to the core conman brother Arlo.
Oh, a sister and a gun permit the same way.
Brother Arlo and his 2 creatively named kids, King and Beauty, subsequently move in with Rachel as comedic chaos then ensues. The gist of the pilot concerning whether Arlo claiming to be Rachel's kin would prove to be truly her relation. This and any
yeah,
other
this is
questions
another
audiences had
stupid
at the time would go unanswered.
looking show.
Flesh and
I would
Blood
never
managed
watch
to make
that
it
crap
8
either.
episodes before seeing the remaining 4 completed episodes unaired. Most discussions found online today discuss a fond remembrance of the 8th and final aired installment, which featured guest star Leslie Nielsen, an old friend and retired con man, getting one over on Arlo himself. The series itself mustered together enough of an audience to carry it from September into November before fading into obscurity.
Yep.
Number 3, Good and Evil.
Wow, I do not know any of these on
Focused
this
on two
list.
sisters
That's
who couldn't be any
crazy.
more polar opposites if they tried.
Well,
Good
okay.
and Evil, as the title
Here's the
suggests,
problem.
acquaints us with
He's
the
literally
sister.
listing
One
shows
being a nefarious heir to a major cosmetics
That's-
corporation. And the
Yeah,
other sister,
honestly, no
scientist
one's ever heard
with
of.
Heart of Gold. A send-up to
Like,
typical
I've-
daytime TV soap operas, which
I've
were
never heard of
profoundly
these
popular at
shows.
the time.
And
The
I
show's
know
creator,
most
Susan
of the
Harris, had
80s and 90s
previously
shows.
produced the show's Soap, a project aimed
Second,
at bringing the spoofing
he's
of daytime
listing
TV,
shows
sometimes overly
that
dramatic
are
and occasionally outlandish
sitcoms. It's like
subplots.
almost
To
all
prove
the
time,
shows he's listed so
audiences
far
conveniently took to
is
the
some
show
type of
open
drama
arms.
or some type of
They laughed
sitcom.
along with ridiculous
So,
plotlines involving alien abduction.
You know, even though I knew
amnesia,
some of the
organized crime,
sitcoms,
and even
these are
communist
show types of
revolution.
genres I
Circles
never
the show
really
voted on many lists as one
watched
of the 100
hardly.
greatest TV shows of all time.
They weren't
Good
popular
News, on the other hand,
genres.
You guessed it, the 91-92 season.
I know who she is.
The chopping block. The show
I
was
can't think of her
canceled halfway
name.
through its original
Well, I know
slated
both the
11
women.
episodes.
But
Episode 6 left watchers on a cliffhanger ending.
she's
Due to
from
the final
Secret of
5
My
episodes being
Success.
ditched altogether,
Oh, is that
wouldn't
that
be
Seth
resolved.
Green?
What's more, this not being the sole bad taste the show
I guess
brought
that's
to its
Seth
legacy.
Green.
A recurring role of a
Another
bumbling
show I
blind
didn't know
character
he was in.
named George, equipped with a red-tipped cane, who would
But yeah,
routine
she was
make
on
appearances
Secret of My
only
Success
to leave a wake of destruction
uh,
in his path
as his
through a
uncle's
physical
wife.
comedy
But
of errors.
she looked really good in that movie, to be honest. Even though she was an older woman, she's a decent looking woman.
I had to see you. A figure of speech, I know.
This led to the show being outright picketed in front of ABC offices. Though the show was clearly intended to be a parody and strictly unrealistic, the National Federation of the Blind didn't see the humor in it, and eventually several advertisers pulled out, leaving neither good nor evil to prevail.
Well,
Number
doesn't
2,
matter.
Sons and Daughters.
Again, see, he's listing like sitcoms and dramas.
The early 90s saw no shortage of
Never heard of this
centered
one either.
plots, and Sons and Daughters was yet one more installment of the same.
Like I said, this wasn't
Taking
my
the extended family drama
genre. I didn't
formula
watch.
to the
Ooh,
extreme
Terry Hatcher.
is what
Man, she was
audiences
a
were
babe back
presented
in
with
the
in this
day.
Portland, Oregon-based
Man,
Brady
she was a
Bunch
babe.
of a fever dream.
But anyways,
After
I
having
didn't.
abandoned his wife and
I don't
children
know these
years
shows
prior, the pilot
because of
episode
that.
kicks off by
He's not
introducing
listing any like
Hammersmith's
B-rated
reappearance
sci-fi
at
or
his old family's
fantasy
home
or
with new
adventure
family
or
in town.
horror. You know, it's all
Paramount Television from the very
sitcoms
beginning
and
had
drama.
doubts
Ugh.
about their own concoction before unveiling it on the 91 roster. The show
Well,
had
whatever, I
previously
never
been
heard of it.
scrapped at the last minute and denied its initially expected
I figured I at
debut
least know
in
one of
fall
these fucking
1990.
shows. Now, he's mentioned
Even
a
so,
few
they decided
shows
to treat
to
unsuspecting
compare him
viewers
to or
3
something
months
that
as
I
something
know,
they knew they were gonna pull
but
the
I,
plug
the
on.
shows
Sons and
he's
Daughters starred
listing,
Lucy
I don't
Arnaz,
know him.
who was the daughter
Never heard
of
of him.
Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball. 6
Oh,
episodes made
okay.
it to air, while
I don't know
7
who she
unseen
is, but
episodes were wrenched
great.
from the listings. Number 1, Top of the Heap.
Again, I don't know this one either. It's another sitcom.
A long-running popular series that had
Here's
been
the
a
problem with
success
your, a
since
lot of your
1987,
sitcoms, especially
led
back then.
producers to believe
Most
the
of what
spin-off would be
people don't
potentially
realize
lucrative.
is most of your
Top of the Heap
sitcoms
featured a budding
were
star,
failures.
Matt LeBlanc.
A lot of
A
people
small
didn't like
role
the
on a contained
sitcoms.
episode of the hit show Married with Children.
It's just a few of them that actually became really popular.
Viewership. The episode itself is in fact
Wow,
simultaneously the
that's Al
20th
Bundy.
episode of the 5th season of Married with Children.
Yep,
and
Married with
the
Children.
pilot
I know
for
that
Top of
one.
the Heap. LeBlanc as Vinny Verducci, a ne'er-do-well
This must have been
boxer
some
living
kind of
with his
spin-off
dad,
or whatever.
a likable but often unemployed schemer in Chicago, Illinois. Vinny's father's ultimate objective
I didn't
is
ever
to
really
hook his
think
son up with a
LeBlanc was
wealthy sugar
funny.
mama and have it made in the shade. While the entire Bundy family from Married with Children never made a group appearance, several episodes feature individual stars appearing as either their character from the show or, in the case of the megastar at the time, Christina Applegate, went for 2 separate cameo appearances. These gimmicks, of course, meant to bolster ratings and sustain the connection between these two shows, taking
Yeah,
place in
it
the
was
same
a spin-off,
universe.
okay.
None of these tactics proved to be enough, and although Top of the Heap was the most successful of, get this, 3 attempted spin-offs,
She was
trying to
hot
ride
back
the
in the day, I'm not
popularity
gonna
of a
lie, but
better-produced series. And if
she's
that
the
doesn't
type I
sound
wouldn't have
painful
ever...
enough, they attempted the
I would
same
never
thing
have dated
in
that.
1992's
Smash it?
Vinny
Yes.
and Bobby.
Date it?
Apparently,
No.
somebody's brilliant notion that making a
Vinny
spin-off,
and Bobby,
a freshly failed spin-off, would somehow turn out to be lightning in a bottle. Well,
Apparently
there you
not.
have it, 10 failed TV shows from 1991.
Okay.
Don't forget to leave us a comment if you remember watching any of these.
Well, that's the end
As
of
always,
that. Okay, so that is the review. And, you know, basically another, you know, fact check, whatever, listing channel or whatever. I mean, it's okay for what it is. I didn't mind it. You know, I probably should have gone over one of these other two with you. I mean, they have like 80 stuff too, but I just did their most recent one. It's okay. Yeah, I give it a thumbs up, thumbs down. You know, there's so many of these you could find on YouTube. So many list channels. Give them a check out if you want. Check them out. You know, that is the review. That's all I have for you this week. Thank you for watching. Everyone take care. Tune in next time. And I'll see you on the next one.